You're just minutes away from understanding exactly how to lay out your homepage and design a website like a pro. In this video, I'll react to real subscriber homepages, showing you the exact design rules that make or break a homepage so you can check your own work along the way. Okay, let's talk about what's going well and what could use a slight tweak on this website. So the first thing that jumps out to me that I would love to change on this is a little bit of a swap in the imagery, just because these two images, for example, just feel way too similar to me. And we want with our images that they feel cohesive in the sense that there's a similar vibe and similar maybe like color scheme or feeling to them, but it's not kind of the exact same type of image repeated on the page. So I just feel like when I look at the banner, where we have like laptop and a few, cutesy things on a desk. And then we have like another laptop and another laptop. It just feels like one to two too many laptops to me. And so I would encourage you to try, I know it can be difficult because you think of, to be honest, for years, I had like every photo of me had a coffee cup in it. And then I was like, okay, I need to get a bit more creative with my imagery here. And so I would encourage you to try to think through the same thing. This stock image, which we have here too, this is one where I feel like this was very common a few years ago where everything was like flat lay, flat lay, flat lay. But I find that we're moving a little bit away from that now. So I would also just encourage you, try to pick a photo that looks a little wee bit more current and less of a repeating theme throughout all of the images. Now, what's done fabulously well on this website is we have very clear call to action here. We have very clear call to action here. I'm really happy about that. The one thing which I would love for you to do as well is to take out the home from the top navigation and also the login. I feel like both of those things could live down in the footer area because they're just not the most vital things. And we want to keep that prime real estate in the top navigation for the most important bits and pieces. The other aspect, this takes such a small tweak, but really does a lot to elevate a design, is to say with this section here, so we have a beige background, which I'm loving the beige background, but then we have this image and we have a white background around the image. And I would love if we either just change the background color of this image to be the same beige that we have here in the section background, so that it doesn't look so like it's sitting on a white square, if that makes sense. Or alternatively, you could just re-export this image with a transparent background, and that would also be fantastic. Then we could only see the PDF and we wouldn't see the white square behind it. Let's talk about what's going well on this website, because there are a lot of things which are very well done here. So for example, one of the offerings that Christine has is a freebie funnel. Love this. Such a specific thing that people need in this world. That is beautiful. This listing of what you'll get is exactly what I want to see on a page. This is extremely well done. We have a little check mark. We have the exact details of everything that you get. This really feels like I can just choose from a menu of the options, pick the thing, click book now. Incredible that you have the call to action there. That's really well done. I also love that you have the pricing listed very loudly, very proudly. That looks great. It details again exactly what's included, and it has a call to action that is literally perfect. Also, the how does it work section, just having like a really quick bunch of bullet points on like step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. Of course, the actual thing itself is probably a bit more, anything that you do. You could also do this on like a custom home building website, like step 1, we chat, step 2, we make a plan, step 3, we build your house, step 4, you move in. Obviously, it's a lot, more complicated in the day-to-day than that, but I think it's really good when you frame it in this very simplistic framework on a sales page, because that makes it feel very like non-overwhelming to someone, which is great. Moving over to Aspire Lane, we have a career coaching website. And this, let me just say, just from before I even scroll down any amount of this page, I can just say immediately, I am getting the first impression that this website was beautifully designed. This is an extremely professional headshot. I love that you've put your face on the very front of the website. Before I even scroll a moment down this website, I can tell, you know what, this looks like a trustworthy website to me. And so you have nailed it in terms of that. It looks like as I scroll down the page, we have very clear offerings. We have the career change room, we have the confidence comeback, we have the Confident Comeback Club. That's perfect. That looks like some sort of a membership to me, it seems like. We have a bit of details on exactly what it is. We have the you'll get, we have it in bullet points, so it makes it easy to read. You've bolded different parts of this, which are the most important aspect of that section. I love that. Janine, this is an incredibly inviting website, and you clearly got a fabulous photo shoot done there, so well done. The one thing which I would love to change on this website is if we could have some sort of specific gift for getting on your newsletter. To be honest, people don't typically want another newsletter in their inbox, but they are very down to exchange their email for something useful. So I would encourage you to think up some sort of something that is very common that all of your career coaching clients would want or need. The perfect first step before they actually get around to working with you, maybe something that even prepares them for working with you. That would be an incredible freebie to give away here. And so I would just switch this over to some sort of very specific freebie offering that you're giving away in exchange for an email. In terms of the latest articles, this is like the smallest thing, and I'm getting very nitpicky here, but that's okay. The one thing which I would love to see in the imagery that we have here is just a very consistent ratio of all the images. So it feels like this top image is a little bit thinner than this image here, and then this one here. That is something which, if we want to get hella specific, I would love to see. Also, the size of this content and these sort of previews of the articles, there's definitely a thing as the right amount of white space, and having white space, oftentimes people do not have enough white space. I would say this is erring on the side of maybe a bit too much white space. So I would just want to either make this section larger, play with a few different layouts for this section so that it feels a bit less empty. That could be putting in an excerpt and then a read more button maybe. Something as small as that could honestly really fix up this section. Coming over to one of the specific offerings under the Work With Me tab, the one thing which I would say is I don't typically love it when in a drop-down menu we have specific names of offerings, because while you understand the names of these offerings, to someone brand new to your website, they might not fully understand the names of these offerings. So it could be good, as you had on your homepage, you sort of had a listing of the offering and then we could click over to go see it. That might be useful to have that sort of thing on the Work With Me page, and then again it clicks out to the two different offerings. Or if we could have some sort of a name which is a bit more clear to other people in the drop-down navigation would be incredible. Granted, that aside, as I scroll through the website, so many good things happening on this website. So this is extremely clear what the offering is. I love your little icons that add some visual interest. That looks incredible. Loving that we have some like images sort of dispersed throughout the page. That looks really nice with a little bit of like background and everything to add some visual interest. Looks like we're just having a slight issue on the overlap here. This could be, honestly, when you design on different size screens, it could be really hard. So maybe just try to adjust your screen size for a variety of different sizes and then see how the website looks on those, and just make sure that in all situations, nothing's really overlapping. And now this is something so small, but I do like when we have two columns for them to be very symmetrical. So it is sometimes possible, but not always possible. For example, this line here and this line here, it's wrapping onto two lines just because there's just a greater number of text. I would say if you are able to cut down a little bit on the text, so we still say the same thing, but we could just say it in one line, then it looks symmetrical between the left and right, and I do really like that. This one could be, I'm not sure if the program is right for me, question mark, and that might get you onto one line. And then for this one, maybe what support is there between sessions? That might also be able to tighten it up a little bit to get it just on one line too. And so then again, we have the symmetrical look between the left and right. But I just want to say the thing that's really well done about this. So we've put the FAQ behind a drop-down menu and it just looks really good. When it comes to the actual purchase process, I'm loving this. We see very clearly our options: one-off payment, two payment, amazing. I click yes, please. And then I can go ahead and directly purchase it on the website. That makes my heart happy. Moving right along to Mintalicious Design. Now this is a brand new website designer, I believe. This is not an English website, so I can't give any feedback on the actual content, but I can on the design. And let me just say, this is extremely well done. So you have your logo, which looks incredible. And then we've brought the consistency of that sort of like squiggle into the background. This looks really fun. I love your use of color. That looks incredible. The way that you've changed up the headings, and you've again used your sort of like wallpapery design with your logo as a background section. That looks really, really good. Lots of testimonials. That's fantastic. Okay, so I'm coming on to, I think this is your services page, and I think this means brand design. Loving, and yeah, primary logo, all those bits and pieces, amazing. And also your example of your work here is incredible. So love that you put an example of your work right beside the actual, offering itself. So it kind of gives them a visual of what they could potentially expect. Loving that we have the very clear list of what's exactly included. And then it looks like there's some sort of call to action button. Fantastic. The only thing I would slightly change is it looks like, I'm guessing that's your price. I would just make it stand a little bit more out, or have it on its own line as opposed to within a sentence. Same thing with this one. And I also just wanted to say, again, this is so great because even though this is not an English website, I can tell that this one thumbs down is saying like, okay, this one thing is not specifically included, which I'm assuming maybe is included in this package potentially. And so just like really well done on the using visual indicators to indicate something without even actually having to say any words. That's really well done. Now on this page here, it looks like some sort of fabulous opt-in gift. This looks really good. The only advice which I would give on this one is it might be useful both in terms of balance on the left and the right hand side of the design, but also in terms of explaining what exactly this thing is. It looks like some sort of brand compass, but I'm kind of wondering like what is a brand compass? So it would be nice if we had a little bit of like a description of what that is, maybe just where currently the email address aspect is sitting, and then we push this email address aspect down a little bit on the page. I think that would, one, look really good, and two, just explain what this offering is a bit more. Now, if you're watching this and thinking, wonder if I could be a web designer too, then that is exactly why I created the Dream Client Booking Blueprint. It is a 5-day guided challenge designed to help you land your first dream web design client without all of the overwhelm. Whether you are just starting out or pivoting into website design, this challenge provides daily bite-sized tasks to help you build your confidence and, most importantly, your client base. You're going to define your ideal client, price your services with clarity, craft a really compelling portfolio, even if you don't have any clients to speak of right now, and learn how to craft a winning pitch. So if you're ready to turn your design passion into a paid profession, then check out the blueprint. It is exceptionally affordable, meaning you can test out a potential design career for less than the price of dinner. Click the link in the description below to secure your copy of the Dream Client Booking Blueprint. Okay, next up we have Chirping Cat Studio. Let's talk about what is done well and our areas for improvement. So the thing which is really well done is that this is so specific. It is very clear right up top in the header text. They have used their keywords. They've mentioned their location. They've mentioned where they actually work with clients. That is all super well done. I would love on this top section if we could add a bit more personality. And honestly, you can do that even with a very simplistic design. So something like truly just choosing a really characterful font type could be one way to do this. The other thing which I would say is that I'm noticing in design trends right now, it is less common to have a white background for a section or for the majority of a website. And so I would encourage you to maybe consider, is there some sort of a brand color that you would like? It doesn't need to be anything too like bold or wild or by any means, could even be beige. So we have something other than white for a background. You have a beautiful, it looks like brown color happening inside of the cat in the logo. And so if you could look and find some sort of like complementary or fitting color to that, that would be a really good choice for what to use in terms of the background here. This photo here, the thing which I don't love about it is it feels very much so like a stock photo to me. It just feels like something that could be on anyone's website. And I want all the photos that are on your website to really feel like they are on your website, like they fit for exactly your personality, your vibe, your brand, whatever it is. So I would encourage you to really dig deep into like, okay, what is my inspiration for my website? What kind of vibe and taste really feels like me or would appeal to the type of client I want to serve? And then go find fitting imagery for that. I've actually just come into your portfolio page and I can actually see here that honestly in this website that you designed for Sarah and Ryan, this looks really lovely. I love how like you just chose some sort of color to be in the background, which isn't white. And I think that truly like adds so much to it. If this just was a white background, this might be a little boring, but actually no, it looks fantastic just from putting that color in there. So there's such small, simple things that you can do to really elevate a design. Additionally, I love how in this website we have a little bit of change up in the color of the text. So we don't just have all block text, we have a bit of green and then the line is green too. That really looks so great. I feel like we could pull those same ideas into your website and that would look fabulous. I've just come over to the blog page, which I found down in the footer. This is actually something which I would encourage you to pull the blog into your top navigation. This one tweak which I would make also comes back to the stock photos. They just feel very stock photo-y and they don't really feel cohesive, if that makes sense. And the good thing about some of these photos is that they do actually relate to the actual content. So this talk about web design mistakes, that makes sense because this girl looks very upset. This one is talking about mobile friendly experience. We see a phone, that makes a lot of sense. But something like say the maximizing user experience, tips for effective website design, this photo of, I don't know, cheetahs in nature just doesn't really feel like it fits for me. So I'd really try to think through, again, what is my design style? What is my vibe? And try to find a whole selection of stock photos that really fits that. Next up, coming over to Stardust Weddings. This is really fun. So the thing which I will immediately say about this website is this has personality coming out its ears. I love that. You've done an extremely good job of changing up the background sections to keep them really visually interesting. Immediately before I literally even scroll down the page at all, I get a feeling for who would love to book this kind of wedding planning service. That is fantastic. I do have to say, planning, okay, yeah, no, it does say planning. I was gonna say, I was like, is this planning? Is this a venue? What is it? It says weddings events, so that's pretty clear, but it's good that you put the planning word in here. Otherwise I would be not sure 100% if this was a venue or if this was a planner. I also just want to give you praise on the fact that you did such a good job of taking all these logos, and then making them a consistent color scheme, because I feel like, and also the fact that you like got rid of the background and there's a transparent background behind all of them clearly so that the black shows up behind it. This looks really, really good. These little logo sections can either, I really find, make or break a design based off of, do they look consistent and cohesive, and do they have some sort of like awkward white background behind them or not. This is an incredibly good way to give a little preview into your different services: micro weddings and elopements, wedding management, full planning and design, get more info, super clear call to action button. Love this. Honestly, coming through this website, I just can't praise it enough. Like literally everything which you should do on a website, you've done on this website. So this looks really great. We have our alternating sections where it's sort of like, this is a consistent section layout. We've just flipped it for the next offering and flipped it back again for the next offering, which looks really good because we can tell just like visually that these are similar ideas of what's happening in these sections, but they're different offerings. So that is extremely well done. I love that we have a starting at price and then an inquire button. We have a really clear header. We have lots of photos of people looking like they're having a fantastic time. We have our a la carte options, which shows people, okay, you want this, but actually you want something additional. Okay, that is obviously an option. Love that. That's amazing. We have our step 1, 2, 3, which shows people it's so simple to plan your wedding. How great. Loving the FAQ, and actually this is a really smart FAQ to have because it says, do you work with straight couples? Because in the footer, it talks about LGBT wedding planning. So that's perfect that you actually have that, because I'm sure that's a very frequently asked question that you actually have. So that's really fabulous. It's really smart that you've thought through, okay, what are the things that people actually wonder about us, and you put it on the page. Incredible. This is a fantastic bit of urgency, which literally every service provider should be saying on their website, because it's true. I mean, you as one person can only take on so many clients at a time. So that is fantastically well done. It is genuine and true urgency. Your footer absolutely smashes it. Okay, we have a little bit of information. We have all of our keywords in here: weddings and events, LGBT, wedding planning and coordinating in Northwest Arkansas. Amazing. We have your contact details. We have all the important page links. So good. I don't know who designed this website, but it was fabulously well done. This is A+ work. Next up, we have Jelly Design Studio. This is, as we can see, design and branding for small businesses, boutiques, creatives looking to elevate their online presence. Love. The one thing which I noticed as I came to this website was just actually in the drop-down menu. Okay, so I have to say, these are very clear in terms of the different offerings. So I think that's great. But the one thing I would just say from a business perspective is it is hard to keep up with all of the changes that happen on these different website building platforms. So I would encourage you, if you have a favorite one or two, also because you have for graphic design as well, which again, you need to keep up with those programs too, that could just be a lot of things to handle. So it's not really a website design feedback, but just something that I would consider in order to make your life easier. You can actually, there are website designers who just do one website building platform and they are completely booked out from doing it. It's really just a question of how good your marketing is as opposed to how many website building platforms you offer, and it makes the running of your business so much easier. So just something to consider. Ooh, this portfolio piece looks fantastic. And the way you've laid out this portfolio piece is also fantastic. So we have this jaw-droppingly gorgeous screenshot of the website. Looks so great. Bit of information about what exactly the project is and exactly the services that you offered. That is lovely. Then we have some beautiful mock-ups. These look really professional, really beautiful. And then the testimonial, gorgeous, so great. And then the right call to action, ready to elevate your own presence, start your design. Yes, so good. Coming over to the resources page, one very small thing. So I just want to say, like, loving your use of color, loving your use of background sections and everything. This looks really great. The one thing which I would tweak here is just that these feel kind of awkward, all like squished up next to each other. So I just have like the teeny tiniest bit of spacing between these different blog post previews. That would be fabulous. Ooh, and now this is something very interesting because it looks like almost all of these blog posts are on something related to fitness studio websites, which I'm loving the specificity of the offering that we have here. And this is a beautifully formatted blog post. Oh my gosh, well done. And also with a great call to action to subscribe. That's really, really good. The only thing which I would say, Melissa, is when I go to the resources page, it's very clear that you seem to be very interested to do fitness studio websites, but then when I come to the homepage, then this is a much more general, broad statement. And if you want to just work with fitness studios, then you absolutely can. So if that's the case, if that truly is your ideal client, I would just bring that communication and copy and visuals and all those things into the rest of the website design, as opposed to just having it in your resources area. But again, kudos on the blog post formatting and everything. This is extremely well done. And next we are up on Vicky Rockcliffe's website, and it looks like just immediately from coming here, okay, so I'm seeing like person getting a massage, stress relief, authentic luxury. I'm seeing signature services, rise method, hero treatments in the top navigation. I'm getting the feeling this is some sort of holistic or spa related website, but I have to say it's not 100% clear from when I've just like not even scrolled down the page. So I would love if we could just have some sort of like very clear statement, even if it's like you take it and you put it down like in this corner here, for example, is like holistic spa in whatever your location is. Just something very clear about exactly what you do, where you are, those sorts of things could be really useful. The other thing which I would tweak up here in the top navigation, I would take the home out of the top navigation. As most people know by now, if they click on the logo, they will get back to the homepage. They don't, it's just kind of unnecessary up there. The other thing which I would say is the rise method. I have no clue, as someone who's not familiar with your business, what that is. So I would find some sort of more clear name for that. Or alternatively, you could just have the term services, and then on the services page, you would describe the hero treatment, the signature service, and the rise method. You could describe them a bit more on the page with like little individual sections that explain each offering, and then you click in to go to the page with more details on that specific offering. So that's the one thing I would tweak. The other thing is, I think just in terms of keeping our navigation items short, I would take out the Vicky and About Vicky, because they're probably assuming, especially because the website's your name, when it says about, they think it's about Vicky, so just a little bit redundant. I would like to say kudos on your choice for your top navigation here on the right-hand side. This is definitely the right thing. You chose the right thing to be your button. Your biggest standout call to action is the book now. That's absolutely correct. And also, I like how your Instagram kind of like matches the book now button. That looks really lovely. In terms of spacing, I feel like just a tad bit of negative space here could go a long way. So just have a bit of spacing above the stress relief and below the book now button before we get on to the next section. And I think that would really elevate the design with just such a small tweak. Oh, this is perfect. Okay, so here I can see, and well done on the fact that you bolded this aspect, because then it's very clear again what you do. So numerology, reflexology, massage, Reiki, I never know how you say that. Acupuncture and facials, that's perfect. Okay, so there it's very clear what you do. So that's good. I would just love if we could have that a little bit higher up. I would just like to say, in terms of things that are well done, beautiful photo that you have here. I mean, also your space that you have behind you looks really lovely. So that makes me really want to come see you. You've also done a really good job of like your choice of imagery here. These are all feeling very cohesive to me. How you put these little like background images, but the background images don't have anything too like distracting happening because they are a background image, not a foreground image. That's really great. Your kind words, love that. And how they scroll through, that looks really lovely. And you have a consistent design style there with a little like sunshine logo-y piece. That looks amazing. And then the book an appointment, again, right choice. In terms of your call to action, this also looks super easy to book. So I'm loving whichever, oh, it looks like Get Timely. Loving your choice of using this option here for the actual booking. Making it easy for people to book is so vital for them actually booking you. And as I scroll through hero treatments, okay, so these are lovely. So we have facial, we have massage, we have healing ritual and fertility. This is lovely. Also, the thing which you've done really, really well is that it's so clear when one offering starts and another one finishes, for example, because we have the differentiation of the background color, which is amazing. We have a very clear header. That's great. I would say the one thing which I might like could be, because we just have like one image up here on the left, it could be nice if we have like a few images down here on the left. So we're kind of balancing with our text content and our image content on the left-hand side could look nice. Again, a little bit of space just below the book now button before the section ends, I think could look really nice too. But generally the way that you've laid it out, this is extremely clear. Also your pricing is very clear. The timing is very clear. The what to do next is very clear. I'd say this honestly like beats out a lot of the small business websites that I see for places offering massage or facials or those sorts of things. This is much better than the average, so really well done. So now I hope you've seen how homepage design can completely change how professional your website feels. But here's where most designers quietly lose thousands of dollars. Two websites with almost the same design can end up being priced totally differently, and not for the reasons that you would expect. If you want to see some real pricing mistakes and how much these websites should have actually cost, that's exactly what I'll break down in this next video. So be sure to watch it next.